So when you first come to F31 Club, you'll see the sliding images, and the first one I put is this. Go back. This is the original forums, and you don't know how much things have changed since 2005. I mean, we can actually go back to 2003 if need be, but I wanted to go over F31 Club history and foundation, and so that's what we're going to do. What's going on? It's Roger for F31 Club and information about the Infinity M30. I decided to make this channel because I wanted to have more representation of Infinity M30s. There's some opinions and drift videos and whatnot out there, which is cool, and even some of our original stuff that was done by Mark Joseph back in 2005, where he was messing around. But I wanted to cover quite a few things in opinion wise, because a lot of people don't want to read, they'd rather watch. And so anyways, here I am, F31 Club webpage that I put together, adding on to the foundation, which were the forums. And I'll just kind of go through like the history and the evolution, these two links. I made these pages just to have like a timeline of how things started from this back in 2005, where Thomas, which we called Scourge, and JC and myself started talking about how things came about. Anyways, so 2003, there was no information on Infinity M30s. And you have to think too that back then, it wasn't like Google where there's just so much information. In fact, Yahoo was the main website back then. And so you would find car forums, and there would be little, threads here and there about the Infinity M30, and, not too many people knew about them. Scourge, Thomas as we know him, made this post on the Fresh Alloy forums, and let me go to that right now. And he asked the question, why is it that no one considers the M30? He made his post here, talked about the Leopard because at the time he was living in Japan, and this kind of started the foundation of F31 Club. But even before we get to F31 Club, this thread went on for maybe about a year, 2 years, 2004. That's when JC picked up his M30, and he found this thread, but he couldn't find any more information. And that also goes along with pictures. So what he did was that he talks about how he couldn't find information, and he wanted to make something to go further than that post, that forum post. So he made the Infinity M30 F31 Leopard forums, and that's this right here. Now, this is kind of the older, this isn't up anymore, this is archive, but this is the original forums, and you can see where a lot of people were asking questions. This is before a lot of things came about. You have to think too, this is 2003, 2004, and even here you can see some of the posts from 2005. The M30 stopped production in 1992. So here we are 13 years later trying to figure things out. And of course by then, Infinity had given up all the information on the M30. So anyways, this is what we started going through, and a lot of the guys are from Hawaii. And then I see a lot of cool names that I haven't seen in a while. For instance, Zydeco, Zemus, 808 F31. When it came to F31 Club, that was Deviant. 16Z, he helped do the first 5-speed manual swap into an M30 convertible. So just like I said, this is kind of like where it all started. And then somewhere down the line, I think JC decided I need something better. He came up with this because he looked up free forums and he was a college student back then. And then, like he said, he wanted to do something more. So he went to he wanted to do more. So let me find that. I think it's here. No posts. Okay, there we go. Alright, how for F31club. Here it is. Here's the post. F31club.com. Something we're going to talk about or do. I couldn't get past that. I came after. So, of course, so after JC set up F31 Club and moved most of the stuff over, it was getting all the people that were on the original forums to go to F31 Club, because there was still people that were behind and didn't catch on. And this was before my time. This was months before I came about. When I found my M30, I bought it. I knew I had something, and I didn't realize that there wasn't much information on it. So I searched and I found the original forums. Then I found the Fresh Alloys threads, or FA thread. And then I found F31 Club. And so let me show you. This is kind of after we've gotten things going, but this is one of the first views that JC made. We debated on how we wanted to use pictures, and the thing is, at the time we didn't have any cool looking M30s, and we were gonna use some of the Japanese pictures, the Japanese owners' pictures as a banner. But then we kind of like, well, this is not, this is our website and we need to do our cars instead of their cars. And so one of the few people that got sponsored, and I mean, he was, got the magazine coverage, was Naoki Drift Day. And so we used his car and till we can get more pictures. And then JC set up, the forums has always been the backbone. But then there was the F31 registry where, people would register. These were just little things here and there about members' rides, which would lead to the members section of F31 Club. And I have to understand too, F31 Club isn't actually a club. It's just a website for people that loved M30s. And so I'll get into that in another time, but this is the first view of F31 Club. Let's go to updated view. This is after we decided on the font. I made connections with some of the Leopard owners, and not only that, this is when I went to Northern California. I lived in Seattle at the time. Northern California, and then I went to the Southern California, and a lot of us met up. Night Moves and David Milkman, I think he called himself, or Dynasty F31, which was Greg, Naoki, Chris Phillips, Chris Dalton, Drew. That was 8 of us that showed up and took those pictures, and that was in 2006. And of course, like I said, we came up with the font. We voted on the font and we came out with this. And this is when we really start to build the website. And it was like, what was it about? I mean, a lot of these links kind of work, but they don't go to the full extent. But we had everyone contributed something for the online manual, and you can go down and find stuff. And I scanned miscellaneous stuff back then. I didn't know this, but in 2016, the leopard manuals, I was told like a lot of the Japanese guys, they were thankful that I posted it up. And that was, like I said, that was just because I was trying to help some of the Australian and New Zealand and UK members that had leopards. Of course, rides and media links. That's when we started to get, a few things going on. But 2006, this is when all this came about, and it was like a good time because that's when a lot of us were meeting up and a lot of us were really communicating on F31 Club. And that is how it came about. I became a moderator, and JC was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I kind of want to organize stuff. So I started posting as much stuff as I could find on M30s and leopards and just dumping it on F31 Club. Anything I can find. And so that was like I said, that was kind of a very cool deal. And I kind of talk about this in the history, but then I kind of go into like our historical Northern California meeting, and then when I went to Southern California to meet all the brothers there, and then just kind of got busy with everything, and then just yeah, and then I'll go into another time. But so I got hacked, we lost pictures. A lot of us went back to school or had families, so F31 Club kind of fell apart as far as a forum. And then, yeah, so that's what happened to F31 Club as far as that. And like I said, people got different cars and moved on and whatnot. I still talk to a lot of the guys this day, and I'll probably make another video about that. But that's what happened, and that's how F31 Club started. Started as a thread on the Fresh Alloy forums, and then we had our free forums, and then we had our own website, and we started off with forums, and we started building more stuff. All this, just stuff to help regular people and tuners and whatnot, and yeah, that's how things went about, and how things have changed. And I'll get to the continuation of that later.